miles up from the Devil Canyon overlook, and there's some really pretty bluffs up here at the top. Now, I'm looking west, and these are the Pryor Mountains, the Pryor, and I guess there's, you could probably find quite a few dinosaur fossil beds up there. So probably where the overlook is probably it's probably older than when the dinosaurs were here. So I would think the KT boundary might be near the top of these mountains, or at least the bluffs. There's a lot of red. You can see the red near the roadway cut. And let's see, let's go back here. There's my rental car. So this is the Ewing-Snell Historic Ranch Site, 1896 to 1968. And this is brought by gold, sustained by water. It's really beautiful. There's a spectacular canyon, like a sub-canyon of Bighorn up in the Snells. That would be a neat canyon to hike. I'll show you that a little later. Now around here, this is bare area. Proper food storage is required now. Before I came up here, I made some burritos, which I have in a cooler in the car. So I hope bears don't get an idea of going there, because they could break in a car. But anyway, we're going to walk around here. There's Keely. Hi, Keely.
Hi, Bruce.
And I also want to get some fall color while I'm on this trip. And it looks like we've got some spectacular fall color here in southern Montana. We also get fall color in Colorado too. We don't have a shortage of that. So let's go walk around. Now here's some old rusted ranch antique equipment. As this was a working ranch at one time. I imagine some of this equipment in here is probably over 100 years old. There's a corral. Now, I don't know if you can see this up here, but there's a spectacular canyon. That would be a neat canyon. It looks like it's a couple miles from here, but that would be a neat canyon to hike up into. You know, this Bighorn Canyon is essentially a national park. It's just they probably don't get a lot of people here, so it doesn't get the priority that a national park would get in the caring. But as far as the scenery here, it's definitely national park scenery. Here's some more of the old rusted farm equipment. And as the sign said, we want to be open because, or be alert, because this is bear country and because we're in southern Montana, northern Wyoming. There could be possibly some lone grizzlies, so we want to be especially careful, and we do not have bear spray like we did in Yellowstone 2 years ago. So Keely made a suggestion to start here, take a little walk to get the feeling of some fall color. I don't know what kind of trees these are. I don't think they're quite aspens. Now this reminds me of another walk that I took about 6 years ago, and I used that picture for my journeys for a lifetime, some of the videos that I do, and that picture of me was taken in Ireland. This kind of reminds me of that. You can hear some noise up here. It's like the branches are cracking. Do you hear that? Or that, I don't know, that might be water too. I'm not sure what that is. Look at these. Look at that tree there. On the one on the other side, this is a juniper. Because of the remoteness of this area, oh, so now, I don't know if you can hear that cracking sound. Let's see what, it could be running water. Now here's a little stream. We'll find out what that sound is. Here's the upstream water coming in. Look at the colors. Got the greens and the yellows and the blue of the sky. Then you got the brown. There's my shadow taking a picture. So that's what that sound is. It's the sound of water hitting a rock. That's what we're hearing. Okay. Looks like something's got a leak there. But here we are at the ranch. There's a structure down there. Those mountains in the background would be the Bighorns. Bighorn mountains. Now what's this over here? This looks like, I don't know. It's more than shelter, says more than shelter. So this was probably the foundation for the ranch home, and underneath this black cover would probably be their basement. Here's some more trees. Here's a big pile of wood. Now, one of my hobbies that I've taken up this year, besides not doing too many videos, is I like to turn bowls, which I've made a few. I'll probably put some up on video. But when I look at wood piles like this now, I think, wow, is there any pieces in there? Of course, being in a national park, you are forbidden by law to take anything. But you always look now at wood much differently. Gee, would that make a good bowl? Okay, I don't know how much of that I caught, but I'm going to film this again. This is the what they call the log shop, and during 45 and 46 it was a school, and 46 and 47 school years. That's a pretty well built log cabin structure. The placard says a mother's determination. And up on top there, I don't know if you can see if there's actually cactus growing. So we're going to start working our way back to the car, and I think from here we're going to go back down south. There is one other, there's another structure over here. So let's walk back across the bridge, and of course we're going to keep our eyes open for bears, because we are in bear country.
Look at the little creek.
Yep. Here's the creek. Here's the same creek as I filmed earlier. Here's the downstream. And here's another structure. It's kind of cool because we're walking up on this and it's behind a beautiful juniper tree. Some more fall color. This is more of an earthen structure. Looks like, from looking inside, it could be a barn. Some picnic benches. Let's see what's back over here. Yeah, this is kind of an earthen structure. I wouldn't go walking on top, but they probably wouldn't like it too much here. Now up there, I can't really zoom in anymore. Those are wild horses up there, because there are wild horses around here, but that's what those are. They look pretty muscular. They don't look like they've been hanging out at the ranch all day eating hay. They look like they're in pretty good shape. Now, I don't want to go up close to them or anything. I might either spook them or you know, they are wild animals. So they may not, if I get up too close to them, they may not like me. So I think it's smart to keep my distance. But these are the red, I guess the red cliffs or something. Still in Bighorn. There's the lake. And we're almost at lake level now. Bighorn Canyon would go up north of here, and that's would go up this way. There's Keeley in the rental car. And because these are not domesticated horses, I would not go up there and even, try to feed them anything. But these are the red cliffs. Pretty amazing. And this is, of course, caused by iron. There's a neat formation up there. It's beautiful in here, and of course we got some trees that are showing fall color. I notice those horses keep raising their rear hoofs, their rear legs, and I hope they're not getting irritated at me. I'm still about 100 yards from them, and I'm not going to get any closer. In fact, we're going to leave here in a little bit and start going up, I think, Highway 14 up over the Bighorn Mountains back into where we're going to be staying tonight. So Keeley and I we're at a scenic stop in the high country, what they say the Wyoming high country, but we're in the Bighorn Mountains now, and that's east of Bighorn Canyon. This is beautiful up here. You got the golden grass. Let's walk over here. They're saying something about a medicine wheel. Oh, there it is. It's a medicine wheel over here. Or maybe it's not. But we're just being real careful not to trip over any of the rocks. Well, maybe that's where the medicine wheel was, right there. It looks like some kind of corral. Look at this. This is the Wyoming high country. There's like some kind of weather station up on the mountain. Up there. Nice forest. We went up a pretty steep incline, very steep. And then just to say a little bit, there was a cattle, whatever they call it, where cowboys got the Wyoming cowboys that are moving cattle from one place to another, probably to bring some of them to market. It's very beautiful here. So hi, Bruce the Last Nail, and Keeley and I are back in Sheridan after our experience up in Montana.
Which was awesome.
Right, and we had just a little bit of just a little bit of a clip at the top of the Bighorns. Really beautiful up there. But let's check out Sheridan again. That's a really nice, I don't know if I got this yesterday, but that's Evening Song by Peter Filler Up. That's one of the real nice pieces of artwork here. Okay, here's one, Broken Silence by Jerry McKellar. Oh, here's Spirit of the Thunderbird by Chris Navarro. Of course, again, just like I mentioned the other day, there's a lot of, they're just tearing up the street, but it'll look good at some point. You know, if you ever get a chance to come up to Sheridan, Wyoming, it's really nice here. It's definitely a cowboy town. Here's actually some more modern sculpture. I didn't get who did this. If I get on the other side, I'm going to be right in the sun, so I have to stand around here, but that's pretty cool. It's at the foot of the Bighorns. It's a footwear foot care. And over here is a Wyoming bison. This is Fabricated Buffalo by Alan Hauser. We also have prints. That's neat. That almost looks like a longhorn. Here's a more modern looking sculpture. This is a girly curl. Nice. Here's one, September 28th to October 1st, the YO Film Festival. Here's one over here, To Dance in Joy. James Mayer. And for you classical fans, classical musicians, that looks like a stand-up bass. Of course, you can use them for jazz. I've actually seen rock musicians use stand-up basses too. Quarter double bass. Here's Pagan War Chief. Pagan or Pagan. And there's a bear. Don't know if it's a grizzly or a brown bear, but that's pretty cool. And this looks like a trout. Rising Rainbow by Sam Street. Oops. And here's a moose. I was actually kind of hoping to see a moose on this trip, maybe up in the mountains or something, so this might be the closest I get. A Moose by Stephen LeBlanc. So this looks like a coyote getting ready to jump on a little mouse. Whoop, there's my shadow. And there's a statue of a fox. I think that's a fox. This is nice. This is The Unknown by Richard Greaves. So we stopped here at Frackleton's, which I think is one of the nicer restaurants here in Sheridan. And this is a black bean. It's a pureed black bean soup, and it is very tasty. And here we got a glass of Pinot Noir. She's not here right at this second, but and we're getting a pasta dish. We're going to split a pasta dish tonight. But boy, look at that steam coming off. So this is where we ate, Frackleton's in Sheridan, Wyoming. And here's one called the Catbird Seat by Bill Nolan. And here's Oliver the Toad. There's one called Range Partners by Joe Beeler. This is a neat one. This is Eclipse by again Chris Navarro. We saw Chris Navarro on the other side. Defiance by Bart Walter. And this one looks like Jake the Chicken by Sandy Scott. This is Big Handy by Jerry Palin. I'm not going in here, but I hear this is one of the more famous bars cowboy bars in Sheridan, the Mint Bar. Nice.
I have, but typically the next jump, my face was in this area.
And again,
I mean, I don't think he beat him in the front. I don't think. No.
Okay, here's a Lonely Wolf Song by Vic Payne. That's interesting. Here's the Golden Rule. That looks like a golden eagle by Walter Mattia. That's a beautiful one too. There's Unexpected Company by Kurt Matson. I think that's a cowgirl. Here's a neat mural in appreciation of all those who came before. So this is a mural of Sheridan's past. And that looks like Buffalo Bill Cody, and he's buried up outside of Golden, Colorado, up down by where we live. His grave is up on the top of one of the mountains there. Jim Bridger. And there's Keeley now. Keeley is, by the way, Keeley is not a statue. That's Zarif Khan, better known as Hot Tamale Louie or Hamburger Louie. Okay. Here's one. This is The Fruits of the Good Earth by James Mayer. This one's called The Midnight Ramblers by Walter Mattia. Looks like some raccoons. We get raccoons over by our house in Boulder, Colorado. And there's a white-tailed deer over in a field that's outside of our motel room here in Sheridan. There's actually 3 of them because there's another one right there. In fact, there's 2 of them. There's one in the bushes. They're kind of camouflaged. There's two over there, and they're definitely white-tailed deers because they have white tails. A little bit of wildlife. They're just checking out the grass. I just hope somebody doesn't come along and try to take pot shots at them. Boy, when they get into those thickets over there, they get camouflaged pretty well. I can see one of them. I can see its ears sticking up. I go back here. Looks like they're in either kind of a junkyard or some kind of a stockyard, so I hope there's not like a junkyard dog hanging out there waiting for some deer. That's actually pretty cool. See some wildlife.